So today we're talking with South Bend hip hop artist PM, whose single "Members Only" reached number 20 on Amazon's hip hop release chart in the United States and number one on Portugal's hip hop chart. Originally written for another artist, the song found its way back to PM and helped lead to new opportunities with WOA International, Ghost Rocket, and Skyrocket Record, as well as an upcoming tour in Portugal. PM is also a longtime Recording Academy member and a music advocate whose journey is shaped by his mother's memory and his desire to create lasting change for other artists. So, PM, please tell us about yourself.
Oh, okay. Wow. That was all right. All right, man. Like I said, originally I'm from Patterson, New Jersey. Uh, I grew up there. That's where I first got my musical start. Just writing. Uh, just a kids. In the hood. Had a musical group. First song we recorded was "Let's Talk About Drugs." So you could kind of see as far as the type of rap style I was gonna bring. It wasn't just all gangster music.
Yeah.
So moved to Baltimore as a teenager with the high school out there, and didn't do music as much. I went off into the military, so I'm a U.S. veteran, of course. And I
Yeah.
started working on music while I was in the military, while I was stationed over in the UK. So that's how I got my international start uh, with my first song, Unfortunate, being played on their commercial radio platforms out there back in 2001. And then came back home. Of course, I got out the military honorable discharge. Uh, Started working in the DMV, uh, based out of Baltimore. Uh, Cut my bones out there on the mixtape circuit, in and around the culture, and then from there, I just kept my musical journey going, and I linked up with a lot of different labels and other organizations as far as getting my music promoted and on the radio stations in and around the world. Uh, Members Only is just probably it's my last song that I actually recorded in the studio, and for the most part, it's probably my most successful run because I've been, of course, nominated for Contemporary Hip Hop Award of the Year by Hollywood Independent Music Awards. So just coming full circles as far as me being in the game for almost 30 years, and just seeing how we went from selling physical pieces to now streaming. So and that's what got me really a part of doing my advocacy work for the Recording Academy.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And we definitely want to talk a little bit more about members only because it took a
Yeah,
pretty unexpected path. It
yes, it
started
did.
as a song you wrote for someone else. And at what point did you realize, or like, did it come true that you thought it was for yourself or it became for yourself?
Um, it started off as an idea, and then from there, uh, we was in the studio one night. I was laying down some reference tracks, just to give the artist that I intend on writing a record for an idea of it being a radio single. So because he was really working on a lot of underground tracks, so we really wanted to have something that we could pitch the radio. So I'm in the studio and we cutting the record, and he's like, "I like the record." He said, "But it sounds like you."
Oh.
And I said, "Well, of course it sounds like me because I wrote it." But
Exactly.
I said, "But that's not the point. The point is we want to write the record and trying to give you an idea of where we could go with the record." So we kept working on it, kept working on it. I kept cutting more verses. I kept writing more verses. And it was to the point where I had a whole song.
Right.
I didn't need them anymore. So
Yeah.
he was like, "Well, you can keep it, PM. You can keep it." I
Nice.
said, "Okay,
Nice.
cool." So a friend of mine, Oliver Shaw, who's with the Row International music group, he had came to me and said, "Yo, we want to," because I'm on one of his most successful records, New York. We actually just hit 40,000 streams on YouTube. So he's like, "Hey man, we want to get you back in the system because I hadn't really recorded or promoted any songs uh, in a long time, probably like maybe 3-4 years. My last song was Mr. Bars, and I got 35,000 on Spotify. So it's telling me like I've been successful doing the stream thing and
Mhm.
selling the records, but I was getting a little bit older, a little bit longer in the tooth, and I was pivoting towards doing mentorship. So he was like, "Hey man, just send us a record." And I said, "Well, I don't want to just sing winners." I said, "'Cause I just don't. That's not what I do." I
Mhm.
said, "But I got a record." He's like, "All right, send it over." So I sent them a rough draft of the record, and they always like what I sing.
Nice.
I've never messed with them,
Okay.
That's
and they was like, "Hey man, yeah, we want to go with this single." I said, "Okay, cool." So I went back into the studio, re-recorded everything. So now I know that this record is going to get the kind of shine and promotion that I really wanted to test as far as to see how far I could go. And it did some numbers.
Nice.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
So that's kind of like, and it's funny because I went back and I contacted the artist
Oh, yeah.
and
Mhm.
I said, "This is your song. Thank you."
Nice.
you know,
Makes sense.
And
yeah,
so with members only blowing up in Portugal,
yeah.
did you ever expect it to be Portugal, or did you kind of have an
Oh,
idea you had that
oh man.
connection there?
Oh man, it was just the genius of Row International. They tapped into the market and saw where that record was really doing numbers, and so they just sent the record out uh, to the radio and did a lot of they did a concentrated campaign in that country, and I never had a record uh, in that country before. I mean, I've had some songs getting, Portugal is one of my markets, but once they did that concentrated promo, I never in my wildest dreams would have thought that it hit number one on the
Mhm.
hip hop charts and number two on the all genres charts. So they showed up for me like they really did, and which by them doing so, uh, it made more sense to put me on the tour that they have scheduled for next year.
Mhm.
So now I have something to one promote and two, they're familiar with me,
Yeah.
with with my artists and now my other songs in my catalog is being streamed as well. So it just shine a light on that song because I've been getting a lot of good reviews on it. From the fans, even people that weren't fans of my music, is like, wow, it's one of my favorite songs from you.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, Portugal really put me on that radar.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah,
And when we were like messaging, you said that your dream was to take your mom to the Grammys, and I was just
yeah,
wondering
yeah.
how her memory still shows up in your music journey today.
It's crazy because I lost my mom about 10 years ago, and she when she passed away, she was always there with me along my journey, but she just saw me on the grind. She never really saw like what I'm going through today. Like she didn't see this part, like in the physical. So, but she saw me on TV before she passed. That's the first time I've ever been on regular television.
Mm.
And it kind of like she looked and was like, "You're gonna really do this?" And I said, "Yeah." And and it kind of made it bittersweet because it kind of gave me that like she gave me that blessing.
Mhm.
Like I'm gonna always be with you type. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And I showed her this, and it was just so crazy because I shot the video while my mom was going through her situation, and I didn't know if the video would be done in time. And we really didn't know anything at that time.
Mhm.
So I just kept working. And she was like, I understand life goes on, you keep doing your thing. And Oliver Sean sent me the videos. So that was the first video that I ever did. I don't even shoot videos. I don't even do interviews, as you can see. Um, so, but when I do an interview, it got to be a special platform for me to get on. So, and I like your platform, so that's why
Thank
I
you.
definitely wanted to get on. I like what you guys are doing for the community. And he sent me the cut of the videos being played on VH1.
Nice.
And when he sent it to me, I was able to go back to the hospital. And this is when my mom was actually terminal.
Mhm.
And I showed her the cut of the video, and she was like, "We really did it."
Oh,
Yeah, I said,
fantastic.
yeah, I was like, "Yo, we gonna take this." So it took me a minute to get to it.
Mhm.
I had the records already, but it took me a minute to get to it, and then it's just been a climb to get to that point. So it's like she's always been a music fan, and she was a Michael Jackson fan.
Mhm.
So every year she would watch the Grammy. That was all her. That was her dream.
Oh,
And she was like, I got my dress ready. I got my dress ready, and I was like, I'm going to take you there. I'm going to take you to the Grammys. So finally got my first ticket being a member of the Recording Academy because we get tickets to go to their ceremony.
Uh-huh.
And it was the year that she passed away. So it's kind of like I hold that ticket
Mhm.
as a memory for her because although she wasn't able to go with me physically, we got this.
yeah.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And it, and with me being nominated for that award, we really got there because now not only is we going to the ceremony, but we going there for a purpose, for the opportunity to win.
Yes.
And I told him the other day, I was like, I'm just happy just to be nominated, to be honest with you,
Understand.
because, I've never been nominated for nothing.
I
and, and it's, you get to these points where you're constantly doing music. And I've been an independent artist my whole career. Like I've never signed a record deal as far as with a major label, signed with independents and top tier promo companies. But to be at this level and still get the notoriety, get noticed by my peers, because that's what I wanted.
Mhm.
Also, I mean, my goal really wasn't to get my record played on the radio. That's always been my dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened 30 years ago.
Nice.
So I was like, okay, everything else is just the cherry on top.
Exactly.
So
I get that.
yeah, because I already achieved my goal. My goal was to turn on the radio one day and hear my record played.
Right.
So and then but the grind, because like I said, I wanted to be respected as an artist,
Mhm.
as a musician, not as somebody that I write, produce, arrange, engineer, I do all of that stuff as well. So, but I just wanted that respect from my peers
Mhm.
more so than I have fans. I have people that love my music all the time. But to be able to walk in those rooms and sit at those tables is what I was really doing it for after I got my record played on the radio.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then, so speaking on the community and building at least
Yeah.
grouping behind you, Your work has
Yeah,
grown into something much bigger than simply releasing your own music. You've become
yes,
involved in advocacy, learned
yeah,
more about how the industry works, and you've used your
yeah,
voice to support other artists as well.
yeah.
What kind of legacy are you hoping to build, not just as an artist, but as someone involved in the music community?
Well, I gotta shout out Taylor Swift. I always wanted to say that
Yeah.
further. Um, this is back in like maybe 2015. He was going through a situation with School of Rome, and it was something over her publishing. She wanted to buy her music catalog, and a lot of times, a lot of artists on that level are not granted the opportunity to purchase their music catalog. Because once you get your rights, it's it's a lot of money behind that catalog. So when she went back into the studio and re-recorded her music and redistributed, and she went through a battle. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with what I'm saying,
Yes,
but
definitely.
she went through a battle with Spotify because Spotify is new. A lot of people don't know that. Um, like if you went to Spotify back then, you would play a song, and this is on the free tier. This not on the paid tier. But
Hmm.
on the free tier, you'll play a song, and then you'll go to another song. It's like Pandora. And she wanted her fans to experience her album without being interrupted
Hmm.
by other songs being played in between her songs. She won that battle,
Yes.
but
Hmm.
I took notice on what she was saying because I too went out to Spotify. And it was funny because I was saying to a friend of mine at that time, I had a PlayStation and I had Spotify. You know how you can load apps on your PlayStation,
Yeah.
video game.
Hmm.
I'm an older gentleman, so I'm not used to this kind of stuff.
Yep.
So my daughter had I would get it for her.
Nice.
So I loaded Spotify on my video game, and I listened to my whole project
Hmm.
for nothing.
Nice.
It's
Yep.
I
awesome.
said,
Yeah.
I said, wait a minute. I said, people could do this.
Yep.
Right.
I was like, oh, hold up. So now I got really interested
Yep.
in how the streaming stuff works, and we had a lot of bills, and I would get emails from the Recording Academy. Like I said, I'm with Sound Exchange, I'm
Mhm.
with BMI, and we get a lot of emails, and I'll skim through them. It's kind of like your work stuff. You get emails, and you're like, okay, that's what they said, but you're not really paying attention to it until it starts affecting you. And I started reading some emails, and I said, wow. And I thought about Taylor Swift. And I said, if it takes an artist of that stature to say, wait a minute, I believe in having my fans to experience my project, then I said, well, I want my fans to be able to do the same.
Right.
So I started to really look into it, dig deep into it. And I got an email from the Recording Academy one day, and like I'm a member of the Washington D.C. chapter. So, and they say, hey, we looking for some advocates. And I was like, okay, what do they do? It was like, well, we sit with lawmakers. I said, oh, really? I said, you sit with the people that pass the law? I want in on it. So they had a number of bills. And one of the major bills that they had back in 2018 was the M&A Act. And I don't I don't recall the acronym, but out of that act, they passed, they created the MLC, the Musical Licensing Collective, which is another, excuse me, the Mechanical Licensing Collective, which is another uh, performance rights organization that collects mechanical streaming on your music.
Mhm.
So once I started seeing that kind of stuff, and I understand how people feel about our current president, But that bill was on President Obama's desk, and it took our current president first term. He passed that bill,
Wow.
and he passed a number of our bills,
Mhm.
like he signed them into law. That to this day is giving us a lot more income
Mhm.
because as independent artists, they try to freeze us out. Like if you on the digital streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music, they don't allow us to get a certain amount of streaming because they kind of uh, put a governor on your streaming a little bit.
Mhm.
Because that's what we found out. Like, oh, you guys own a third, and I'm talking about the major record companies.
Mhm.
You guys own a third.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that really turned the volume up as far as what I was trying to do. And now I started putting on my social media, hey, we need to start uh, getting in contact with our local lawmakers and letting them know that these bills are important to us. So they can get passed and we can be better compensated for our musical composition. And so no, a lot of stuff has passed, especially since COVID, because now everything is really heavily streaming. You're seeing subscriptions. Like now a lot of these different apps are offering subscriptions. It's
Mhm.
because of what we've been doing.
Interesting.
Yeah. So before you didn't need a subscription to look at YouTube.
Right. That's true.
Now you need because they relied on ad revenue. The ad revenue is where they get the money to pay the royalty.
Gotcha.
So it just made it more excuse me, it made more sense for us to learn, but it took a long time for me to really, you know, dig in and really start being more passionate about it. And I actually found what I wanted to do. So that's really what I've been concentrating on the last 4 years uh, since I've seen the differences and seeing all of these bills passed and getting more familiar with my local lawmakers. But like I said, I'm really tapped in the DC, Maryland area.
Mhm.
And now I'm out here in Indiana. Uh, I'm gonna get tapped in out here too, and speak to congressmen and things like that because we need strength in numbers.
Yes.
Right.
And it takes an artist like Taylor Swift to do something like that. Like you should want to do something if you only getting 100 streams
Yeah.
Yeah.
on your Spotify. So you know what they're doing with even with Spotify. I don't mean to be long with it, but they curtailed the streaming pool.
Mhm.
So this is the reason why they did that because it's the money that they got to pay out due to all of these bills that we've been getting passed since 2018.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Now you know, like you see, like wow, this you never had to watch a YouTube commercial
Right.
before. We could just get scared,
Yeah.
but they make you watch it now
Exactly.
because they need the money.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's so that
Yeah.
all being said, like how does it feel to be part of these sorts of conversations that impact artists beyond just you and your own career?
I'm an example
Mhm.
because, like I mentioned, I've been independent. So to be able to get a royalty check,
Yeah.
you get artists out here that, and I know you done seen them. You can't believe it. I'm talking about big artists, like artists that just sold millions and millions of records. And they get on these interview platforms and they say they've never received a royalty check.
Mhm.
And you say that's impossible. You sold millions of records, but it is possible if you took an advantage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's the story, or that's the part they leave out of the story because if you take upfront money, they deduct that money.
Yeah.
from your income until you pay it back. And ultimately, a lot of them don't pay it back.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, I'm not sure if you are familiar with the 360 bill.
Not super, no.
Uh, right. The 360 bill came into effect back in 2010. Because before it was just a traditional record deal. You just made money off the record sale.
Mhm.
But then you had artists like 50 Cent started acting, T.I., Eminem.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of a new artist. Uh, oh, you're very. Oh man, it was just mentioning him. He's from Indiana. His name is Gibbs.
Freddie Gibbs.
Freddie Gibbs. Yeah. I'm sorry, Freddie Gibbs. Salute.
Yes.
But yeah, you got artists like that that's acting, that's touring. The record companies need a piece of that money. So now they signed 360 deals with you. And I actually signed maybe 2 agreements that way. And although I didn't agree with it, it made sense because you make a lot of money selling merch at shows.
Yeah.
And uh, ticket sale and movie money, TV money, uh, likeness. Like you can sell your likeness to come. Well, remember, if you're not selling any records, they need to compensate for that in order for them to stay in business.
Yeah.
Right.
But, and like I said, I don't know if you're too familiar with this, but we got a lot of investment firms buying catalogs. Like you got a lot of artists selling their catalog.
Wow.
Like, and I'm gonna just give you one, and don't hold it against me. But when I saw her, I was like, oh, I'm getting on this. Iggy Azalea.
Oh, yeah.
She sold hers for 14 million.
Wow.
And you said, well, what kind of record she had to be able to sell 14 million? She had 2 or 3 hits
Mhm.
about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And, well, that's how she was able to leverage that catalog and sell some of her publishing. And but you ask yourself, why all of a sudden a lot of these investment firms are buying this catalog? Like I'm telling you, like if you go on YouTube right now, you may look up, let's say, I give you a popular artist. Let's say you look up Elvis.
Yeah.
You may see Elvis' whole catalog up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, Elvis wasn't alive when YouTube was created. How did his catalog get on YouTube?
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're redistributing old catalogs and old music because there's a market for it now.
Yeah.
There's something we call syncing.
Oh,
You're putting it in movies, you're putting it in television, you're putting it in commercials.
that makes
This
sense.
is the part of the business that, as an artist, if you're not too familiar with this, no, you're gonna be constantly fighting your disco kids and your CD babies because you say, well, they're not paying me any money. I'm getting 0.0003, and that's a real number.
Yeah. That is a phone number.
And the thing is because that's their royalty rate for artists at our level. But an artist at, let's say, a Little Baby or a Lil Wayne or a Drake may get a higher royalty point because they generate more streams on the platform. So more so with me is I saw that if could I get a lot of artists that's coming up, I'm the first one they see
Yes.
Mhm.
on the Spotify, on the social medias, at the local venues performing. And when they have the opportunity to get on stage, the same stages I'm getting on. And so for me, just having that knowledge to be able to pass down to them, to let them know, like, hey, It's possible. You can do the same thing I did.
Yeah.
It's just gonna take time for you to get there. But you can do the same thing I did.
Right.
But they could reach out and touch me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And that's what I've been working on my, at the latter part of my career
Mhm.
is being an example. Because I was that same kid that was writing music, having a dream of taking his mother to the Grammy. I was the same kid.
Mhm.
So you are the same kid.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And you may have aspirations of having your record played on the radio. I mean, I don't know if they want to have it. I don't know how radio is today. But when I was coming up, it was a big deal.
Right. Yeah.
It was a big, it was the only thing we had. We didn't have anything. You turned on the radio when you got in the car with your parents, and it was your favorite song.
Yep.
Mhm.
So, but they can have that same aspiration. And when you can see just from across the room that, hey, I'm in the same room as you. I made it.
Right.
But how? Because although you're sitting at the same table with me, that don't mean that you did the same thing as me,
Right.
right? But at the same time, it's possible for you to do it if you work hard. So that's the legacy that I'm trying to really leave is not only being a great musician, but being a servant
Yes.
for the industry. And also to let these artists know that it's not all about, having the big chains on and having a big entourage and and walking around with the models. And I mean, we all love that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love it. Okay. Uh, but at the same time, what is your message? You got to have a message. You got to be an example of your community. And I'm not just talking about your cultural community. I'm talking about your community, your where you live at, the address, being in tune with your councilman, because that's where it starts. At. It starts with your councilman. Then you get to your delegates, your state delegates. Then you get to your mayors and your governors. Then you can go national and talk to your congressmen and stuff like that. It makes more sense for you to when you're voting, as opposed to you just voting for a name. You know why you're putting that person in office because they're not only going to help you, but they're going to be able to provide the kind of laws to help the community in the future.
That is true. Those are true. Those are some really amazing insights, I
Yeah.
would say. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. No doubt, no doubt.
Well, I think. Oh, sorry, our light is a little strange. There we go.
I was going to mention that, but
I
I'm
just
pretty
noticed.
sure.
Just noted too.
Oh, okay. Y'all got into what I was saying, which is good.
Yes, we did. We did.
Y'all can cut the camera. Y'all can cut the camera a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, no doubt, no doubt.
Well, thank you so much for interviewing
Thank
with us today. We really appreciated
Yeah.
talking to you. It was great speaking
Yeah.
with you.
Like I said, I wanted to definitely not only give the interview, but why.
Yes.
Mhm.
But also, I got something to talk about now.
Yes.
I ain't had nothing to talk about before. I never did nothing. Not nothing of substantive.
Yeah.
And now that I'm able to really communicate what I've done along my musical journey, but also I'm able to explain the changes because I've seen it. I experienced it, and I'm just giving you a nugget. There was a first website called mp3.com.
Mhm.
This is during the early digital era. I got a royalty check from that.
Nice.
Mhm.
The first my first check for streaming. And I was like, what is this? Didn't even know how can you make money? And my next question was, how do they know to pay me that much?
Right.
Because you can just give me anything.
Yeah.
Right.
But they sent me a check in the mail. And hey, I know we still have a post office, ladies and gentlemen. But they sent me a check in the mail, and I'm talking about this is from 1999, 2000,
Mm-hmm.
and you seeing where streaming is today.
Yeah.
And I seen it way back then
Mm-hmm.
how the digital era, it was coming, it was gonna be here. It was how long you was gonna be in it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm like probably one of the only few from that era that's still around today, relevant.
Yeah.
You know, and we talked about when I came out, DMX
Yeah.
was high, and Jay-Z was the man, and you had a song, Ja Rule and Nellis. They still do music, but they don't do it like how I still do music.
Right.
So it shows you, like, I've seen all of the changes from when we were selling CDs, tapes, to we were selling downloads.
Mm.
Like, I used to make money off downloads. Like, it was 79 cents, 99 cents, and $1.29.
Yeah.
And I went through it was 1 year. I think like I say, I've been around for a while, but Rick Ross, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with
Mm-hmm.
Rick Ross.
Yeah.
He dropped the album. I dropped the album. Amazon was selling. Amazon was selling my project for $9.99. I had 9 songs
Mm-hmm.
on my project. They were selling his project for $7.99. And I said, that don't look like it.
Mm-hmm.
He's a major label artist. And this is Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
This is before, like, now you go on to the DSPs and they list all of the credits. Before they didn't do it. Like, Amazon and Apple Music was really the only ones that did it. And I looked, and I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with P and C, the circle,
Yes.
copyright and publisher.
Yes.
It said Def Jam next to his. It said my label next to mine. And I said, oh, wow. He don't own that CD.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it kind of, you see it more so right in your face, but you're not really paying attention how they're letting you know who owns what. And like I said, I've been an independent my whole career, and I'm the one that's putting my music on the Spotify and on the Apple Music and things like that. So I seen them from way back then, and then right before 2012 is when it went straight streaming. Like they cut out the downloads, and that's when you started to have to buy the Apple Music subscription. Yeah, and then once we bought the Apple Music subscription, you had access to the library. And like I said, you could go back and really do your research. It was a lot of lawsuits
Yeah.
during that time. That's the reason why, because you had people that had just to get on. They just included your music in the library, and they waited to get sued. That's part of the game. That's always been, you know. People do stuff and then wait for you to sue them.
Yeah.
So that's how really Spotify cut they cheap in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
They made all their money, so they had enough money to fight the lawsuit.
Right. Yeah.
But at the same time, yeah, that's how they got on. They included a lot of music from those different record labels that they never had authorization to begin with.
Yeah.
Right.
See.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Well, is there anything else you would like to cover that we haven't covered already before?
Yeah, like I said, I wanted to shout out to EXO fam.
Yes.
They that's my fan base. You guys are now part of the EXO fam. I definitely see you on Instagram, and anytime I see your post, I retweet it
Nice.
or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
You know, they added a new button.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely want to shout out the EXO fam, the DMV. Most always my home, Patterson, New Jersey. South Bend definitely showed me love out here, and I owe you one. And South Bend know what I'm talking about. I definitely want to get back out here and get on stage and give you that performance and let you know that I really do this. So we had a little hiccup, but I'm not going to get too far into that. So I definitely want to give a shout out to my family and my friends. Big homie, Drag City, definitely Street Legally, Studios, Mark Curry, Mario Mitchell, you know, the genius behind Members Only, and of course, 3, who did the beat for me, Zion Murray, very great artist, Mr. 33, and last but not least, Tangible Tunes, you know, for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Okay. All right.
All right, thank you. It's been great talking to you.
It's been, yes.
Oh man, appreciate it. Like I said, thanks for having me. I really enjoyed myself.
Glad.
Of course.
It's like I said, hopefully this is not the last one,
Oh yeah.
but
No.
I definitely I like what you guys are doing. I like to continue to be a part of that.
Oh, you will. We love what you're doing, and we will continue to be a part of you.
My man, hey, look, I see what y'all did for me.
Yes.
So, like I said, at the end of the day, I do appreciate it.
Yes, of course.
Of
Anytime.
course. Thank you for being here.
Thank
We really
you. All right.
appreciate it.
No
All
doubt.
right.
And I look,
Have a great night.
you too. Thanks.
Thank you.